Good morning. Let me ask you a question, and I'm going to ask me a question too. Where are your attentions focused? Where are my attentions focused? Today, this week, this Monday morning, where are my attentions? Are my attentions on this country? Are my attentions on this nation, this continent? Are my attentions on this world? I think that it is super important in this season, and it has been for many seasons, for us to actively choose to focus our attention not here, but on the kingdoms of eternity, not in the kingdoms of this world. And I was reading in Hebrews this past week, and it really struck me as I was reading about these men and women of faith. You've heard of the Hall of Fame, the Football Hall of Fame, and the Hockey Hall of Fame, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio. Have you heard of the Hall of Faith? I bet you have. Hebrews chapter 11 talks about all of the men and women who, by faith, did what God asked them to do, realizing that He had a promise for them. These men and women who, by faith, so Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and Joseph and Moses, Noah, by faith, they followed God. They listened to what God was saying. This is the Hall of Faith, filled with names of men and women who, some very likely, some unlikely, followers of God, who, by faith, acted on this planet in their time. They chose to act in the way that God was asking them to act. So maybe Noah, he acted in a way that built an ark. People thought he was crazy. Abraham, he acted in a way that nearly cost him to sacrifice his own son, but it was obedience. It was simple obedience, and God said, nope, stop, don't take the boy. On and on, these men and women. Moses led his people out of Egypt and through the Red Sea. Come on, what kind of faith does it take to stand in front of the sea and say, God, you got to get us across? And God parts the sea and they walk through on dry land. But here's the crazy thing. With all of the amazing stuff that happened in the lifetimes of these people, the Bible says that even though they believed, they didn't achieve the promise. Like, they didn't see the promise. Where are your eyes? Where is your focus? Tracy, where is your focus? What's the promise you're looking for? What's the promise you're waiting for? Is it a promise on this earth? Is it a promise in this country? Or is it a promise in eternity? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I say that the promise that we're waiting for is an eternal promise. It's what our hope is based on. It's the return of Jesus, our soon and coming King, for a kingdom that's eternal. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And let me tell you something, that in Hebrews chapter 11, it talks about all these people that are in the Hall of Faith. And the Bible says, and these people were still living by faith when they died. They didn't receive the things that were promised. They only saw them and welcomed them from a distance, admitting that they were foreigners and strangers on earth. Have we gotten too comfortable in our state, in our city, in our country? Have we forgotten that we are foreigners on earth? Of course we don't feel comfortable here. Of course we hate it when evil seems to be advancing. because we are foreigners here. This is not our home. This is not our home. Our home is an eternal one. They were strangers on earth. People who say such things show that they're looking for a country of their own. If they would have been thinking of the country they left, they would have had the opportunity to return there. Instead, they were longing for a better country. A heavenly one. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, because he has prepared a city for them. Jesus said, I go to prepare a place for you. And so all of these men and women who received miracles and signs and wonders, they never received the ultimate promise of a Messiah, of our returning King Jesus, and we wait for him. We ask him to be the king of our heart and the king of our life, and we follow him. And we wait for his return. We are foreigners. We are not from here. Of course we don't feel comfortable here. We are not from here. This is not our home. And the Bible says at the end of chapter 11 of Hebrews, by the way, if you haven't read Hebrews chapter 11 and 12 for a while, pop in and read both chapters straight through. They're amazing. These people in the Hall of Faith, not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, were all commended for their faith, yet none of them received what had been promised. Since God had planned something better for us, so that only together with us they would be made perfect. It's still coming. It's still in the future. They didn't see it. They died without receiving the promise. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, these people whose names are mentioned in Hebrews chapter 11, our grandparents, their grandparents, our parents, their parents. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, those who have gone before us and those who are still here, let us throw off everything that hinders. Get your eyes off of this country and get them onto a heavenly country. Throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of this faith that we have. It's not even our own. He's the author of it, and he's the one who's perfecting it in us. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame. And he sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Hey, consider him who endured such opposition from sinful men, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. Do not grow weary. Tracy, do not grow weary. Get your eyes off of this country and onto a heavenly country. Get your eyes onto Jesus, because we are foreigners in this land. We are aliens. But put your eyes on the one who bore the cross for the joy set before him. And who is his joy? It is me. It is you. You are the joy that gave him strength. You are the one who cheered him on when he was climbing up the hill toward Calvary. It was for the joy. You are his joy. I am his joy. It was for the joy set before him that he endured. He loves you so much. He loves me so much. And he does not want us to fix our attention on this country, on this continent, on this world. Tell them all about Jesus, because your eyes are fixed on him, and it's going to be a great day.